All right, serious question for you Trailblazer fans. Where do you want this season to end? Do you want the Trailblazers to make the play-in, or would you prefer that they enter the lottery and have a chance at maybe a top 4 pick? Or, if God shines his grace on Portland, Victor Wembanyama? What do you want? Where do you want this season to end? Because I find myself in turmoil right now with the Blazers winning back-to-back games. Very annoying. Now, on the bright side tonight, Damian Lillard with a triple-double, the third of his career. And apparently it took place in 27 minutes, or at least that is what I was told. But Dame was special tonight. 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists. The guy is doing everything he possibly can to put this team in a position to win when he doesn't have a lot around him. The sad part is it required a triple-double from Dame to take out one of the worst teams in the NBA who are missing 5 of their best players and a team that just doesn't really know how to play. You watch the Pistons. They're bad, really bad, and yet the Blazers had to fight, scratch, and claw to make sure they didn't blow another double-digit lead. The one surprising part about the game tonight, the bench scoring, or shall I say the bench shooting. It's pretty remarkable. 12 of 15 shooting tonight between Nasir Little, Shaedon Sharpe, and Trenton Watford as the bench came up large. 12 for Watford, 6 for Shaedon Sharpe, and 9 for Nasir Little, who played well. He did yesterday and today, so make it back-to-back good games for Nasir Little and the usual suspects in the starting lineup. Triple-double from Dame, a very underrated all-around game for Cam Reddish, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. And as Chris Burkhardt called it, the revenge game for Jeremy Grant. He had 26 points in the game tonight, 4 of 7 from 3, and contributed 6 rebounds. So the Trailblazers take care of business. They make it back-to-back wins. Unfortunately for them, they now have to get on a plane and travel to Boston and get ready for the Celtics for a game on Wednesday. That game will tip off at 4:30. So I'd really like to know from you where you want this Trailblazer season to end. I've thought about it over and over again, and I've come to the conclusion that I want them to lose enough games to give themselves a decent shot at a top 4 pick and potentially Victor Wembanyama. And I'm thinking top 4 pick. If you get Wembanyama, you're taking him, and he's going to transform the franchise instantly, and that's beautiful. A top 4 pick, however, could be utilized in combination with some other assets to go out and secure the type of player you're looking for. Potentially a star, someone you can put next to Dame, because it's getting a little bit tired watching him go out there and take the floor with guys who are subpar. And that's really what Dame is doing right now. Subpar talent around him, and that's been the story for quite some time. But the Blazers get it done. No Ant, no Nurk once again, and the Blazers get the victory tonight, 110-104. It's the fifth quarter. Chad doing along with Chris Burkhardt. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can reach out to me on Twitter, at Chad in Rip City. At Chad in Rip City. That's how you find me. Blazers with the victory. Boston is coming up next as they continue this 6-game road trip. 3 games to go, and they're the 3 toughest games of the trip. They've got Boston, Philadelphia on Friday, and they finish up the road trip in New Orleans on Sunday against the Pelicans. So the Blazers have a lot of work to do, and then once they come back home, more tough games ahead. Boston's on the slate. They're going to have to face the LA Clippers. So this next stretch, week plus for the Trailblazers, is going to be tough. And, of course, you've got these compressed standings in the Western Conference, as people always point out to me. The Blazers trying to fight, scratch, and claw and put themselves in a position to make the play-in. And I guess the downside is, the way I look at it is, if Portland were able to squeeze into the play-in, I don't see them advancing into the postseason and becoming one of the top 8 seeds. And let's say they did get through the play-in and become the number 8 seed in the West, how are they going to do against Denver in the postseason? That's like a 4 or 5 game series. So my whole thought process is, why put yourself through that when you can gain an advantage and have a better shot in the lottery at grabbing a pick that could be very useful and a tool to help you improve the roster, which is desperately needed come summertime. So that's kind of where I'm at. In the meantime, though, I am enjoying watching some of the new guys. Matisse Thybulle and the way he operates defensively on the floor. He didn't do much offensively, but I like watching him work defensively. He's clearly a guy with an understanding on that floor, and he should have as a 2-time All-NBA defender. And Cam Reddish At first, when he arrived, I thought this guy isn't very good at basketball. But after watching him and getting a chance to see him, and he played big minutes tonight, 40 minutes for Cam Reddish and 40 minutes for Jeremy Grant. Those two guys carried the bulk of the minutes today. You can see Reddish, he's playing with confidence. Obviously it's a great opportunity for him to go out and showcase what he can do after not playing and falling out of favor in New York. But, if that guy remains on the roster, the Blazers have him as a restricted free agent this summer. You got a guy who's on the bench, 6'8", and can shoot a bit. That's not a bad thing to have. And we'll continue to watch him and Thibault as the season progresses. But the Blazers able to get the victory tonight. They get it done 110-104, and now they move on and get ready for the Boston Celtics. Oh, my goodness. What to do. It's tough. It's tough, isn't it? Because you find yourself in this quandary where you're like, am I rooting against this team right now? Why do I feel the way I feel? Really, all I care about is it's not about the postseason this year, the play-in, the playoffs, or whatever. My main focus is what's going to be best for the franchise so that they have an opportunity to really go out and do something special during the summer. To acquire people that can come in and really help Dame out and help this team become something more than what they're not right now. A contender, right? That's really what it's all about. Now, let's go ahead and hear from Dame on the floor with Brooke Olzendam after the game, after his triple-double, third career triple-double. He did it against the Pistons today in 27 minutes.
Down the stretch, how'd you hold on for the win?
We just had to, weather the storm. Obviously, you play in the NBA. These guys are NBA players for a reason. And, your record doesn't always show how competitive you are. And, they're a much better team than their record shows. They compete, they play hard, they play physical. They put pressure on you. And, I felt like we controlled the game the whole game, but, they made their runs. And, it's our job to just come in here and get a win, and we did that.
You got your third career triple-double in just 27 minutes, but I want to talk about your rebounding. You led all players with 13. Was that a focus of yours to crash the boards tonight?
I mean, the last, since we've been dealing with all these injuries, we've been having trouble rebounding. And our coaches have been telling us, we got to gang rebound. Everybody has to be in that fight. So I've just been trying to, actively get in the fight down there. Sometimes the ball is just coming to me because our bigs are face boxing out and just keeping their guy off the glass. And it's our job to come in and pick up those scraps, so I've been fortunate to be on the right end of that. But just focusing on rebounding. We got to come up with the ball, and the guards got to come back and help.
You got a little bump. How's your head?
I mean, it was a physical game. Obviously we do our homework. We know that Detroit is the most fouling team in the league. They foul more than any other team, so I was just trying to keep my composure and not get through out of the game tonight when they just was letting them just beat me up. My elbow bleeding, my knee bleeding, I got a knot on my head. But I mean, we professionals, and we got to be able to keep ourselves calm and find a way to get it done, and that's what it was tonight.
Nice job. Go get some ice.
Thank you.
All right, there's Dame, clearly irritated with some of the physicality in that game tonight, with the Pistons roughing him up just a bit. I love the guys. Burkhart pointed this out earlier with Trent Watford, and we heard it from Dame there. The diplomatic approach when discussing an opponent that is subpar. The Pistons suck. I mean, let's just be real. That's not a good basketball team. They're in tank mode. They look disorganized. It's not a good squad. And they had 5 of their top 6 players out tonight. So I don't want to hear about the way they compete. I don't want to hear about this or that. They're terrible. What, they have 15 wins? That is a bad basketball team. You got to love the diplomatic approach, Chris. Watford and Dame. Watford almost slipped up, didn't he?
Yeah, Watford's like, yeah, we know they're not a good, they're a hard fighting team. Almost gave it away. But there's just some irony in that too, right? You're going to call them not a very good team because you haven't been playing very well either. But back-to-back dubs, so they continue to sway us here and make us question our own sanity and which way they're going, because apparently they're a winning basketball team now.
I guess. It's hard to nitpick the Blazers right now because they're not very good themselves, but I didn't like that fourth quarter. They let things get away from them a little bit. Pistons able to get back in the game, and that's a game that you would like to have thought of, especially in the third quarter. The Blazers had a chance to put their foot on their throat, and they could just never quite really take control of the game and allowed the Pistons to hang around.
Yeah, and it's hard when you don't have Ant. I think you're seeing some value in him, right, because of the ability to run that second unit, be a go-to scorer. no matter what unit he's playing with. But the commonality here when Ant has been out is that when Damian Lillard subs out of the game, the team cannot hold a lead. So he has to play these big minutes and get back in just to right the ship. Like, it's unfortunate, but how many times you hear the call, Dame coming back in to fix it, or Dame coming back in to save it. And it's unfortunate with all these injuries. So if you are limping into the playoffs, Chad, like if you're in the play-in and you are limping into the point where you still don't have players playing, you're going to get destroyed.
There's no question, especially with the type of talent you're going to face. How about the efficiency of the bench tonight? 12 of 15 from the floor with the combination of Watford, Nasir, and Shaden. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Unexpected.
Yeah, you like seeing that, though. I mean, you want to see big games from Shaden and Nasir and Watford and doing what they're supposed to be doing out there. It's one of those games, I think it was a little too close for comfort late for a team as bad as Detroit, but they did what they needed to do. Young guys got to run, and as you said in one of your tweets there, I mean, Cam Reddish continues to look good. Like, he's starting to get comfortable. I said in the very first game he played, too, that, like, the shots right there, it just needs some tweaking. It just needs some tweaking. I think if they can dial that in, much like Nasir has over the years, they might be onto something. But I don't know. I feel conflicted because they've won these last two games, and after I've finally been swayed by you that tanking is the best course of action, they go and win two games, and now I don't even know how to feel anymore.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the fifth quarter. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to your calls. Blazers get the win, 110-104. Third triple-double of Dame's career tonight. They'll get on a plane, head to Boston. They're taking on the Celtics Wednesday. That tip-off at 4:30 here on 620 Rip City Radio.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
Dame on the wing, he attacks to the baseline, gives it to Eubanks, who's open, and he hammers it down. And he puts James Wiseman into the vault. 44-30, midway mark of the second quarter.
All right, Blazers get the win tonight, 110-104 over the Pistons. They'll travel to Boston, take on the Celtics coming up on Wednesday. That tip-off is at 4:30. The question for you tonight really is, where do you want this season to end? Lottery? You want the Blazers to push and get into the play-in and have an opportunity to get into the playoff field and be one of the top 8 seeds in the Western Conference? You know, I look at it very simply. I don't care about the result of this season because the team's not going to win a championship. The window on Dame is closing right now, so why not put yourself in the best position to get the best assets so you can go out there and really make something happen this summer? Because I know a lot of people say, well, hey, just get into the postseason. Anything's possible. Not really. Not when it comes to the NBA. There aren't 8 seeds who are limping into the postseason that have been poor and are one of the bottom teams in defense who are winning championships. If the Blazers make the playoffs, their likely first-round opponent would be Denver, and that's a series that would end quickly. And if the only real benefit of making the postseason is that pick conveys to Chicago and unlocks your future first so that you can, pull off a trade this summer, get into the lottery and have access to potentially one of the top 4 picks, or maybe Victor. Cronin's going to be able to work out a scenario with Chicago to open up those first-round picks if need be. So that's not going to be an issue either. So that's really what I'm focused on, just what's the best thing for this franchise come summertime to where they can go out there and really surround Dame with something of value. Dame was spectacular tonight, like he has been, playing the best basketball of his career, triple-double tonight, 31 points, 13 boards, 12 assists, 12 of 15 shooting for the 3 bench guys tonight, Watford, Nasir, and Shaden, and the Blazers get the victory. Really, it was first quarter they came out strong. 16 points for Dame in the first. He powered them to a 31-18 lead, and they kept a comfortable separation the rest of the way. Let's go out to the phones so I can hear your voice, 503-248-0620. We'll start with Tall Tim. Tim, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. What was your take on what you saw tonight?
You guys are finally coming around to my stealth tanking strategy this year. I mean, I think that's been the plan from the start. This is a 3-year plan. I think Dame signed on to a 3-year plan. This year, they've got to develop what they have, find out what they got, try to get some style play. Chauncey's got to get some experience, and you can see some growth in all those areas. Next year, they've got to get, and Dame's job in this whole thing is to sell the franchise, right? You're like, I got to go play with that guy. That guy's amazing, right? Who would want to play with Dame? My God, he's one of the best players in the league. So he's done his job. And next year, I think they have to take a step, get into the playoffs. Third year, they're going to go for it. They're going to spin their wad, whatever their wad is, and see if they can go for it. I think that's what they've signed up for. Now, whether they get there, hey, there's a bunch of other teams in the league that all got money and players and all that stuff, so we'll see. But I think that's the overall plan.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy. There's no doubt that Dame signed up and is on board with what they're trying to accomplish. If they were in it from the start, they would have started tanking a long time ago and be in a much better position to land that top pick in the draft. I think what they've tried to do is put together a team. They're giving the guys a chance to go out and compete and see what they can do, and then once it becomes apparent that the postseason is out of question, that's where they would take their foot off the gas. But the bottom line is, Tim, and you know this like I do, they've got to get more talent, more top-line talent to play with Dame to give him a legitimate chance to make a run. Let's go out to Rachel. Rachel, appreciate the phone call. You're up on fifth quarter. Where do you want this season to end for the Blazers?
With a lottery pick. Like, forget the plan. Just lose games, go for the lottery, try to get Wembanyama.
Yeah, Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, he's.
Wembanyama, okay.
No, you've probably seen him. That 7'5", can handle the rock like a guard, and has got incredible bounce. He's a special player. That's the type of guy that would transform a franchise right there. No question.
Yes. Also, Chad, so how did you come up with Show Me Your Blazer?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I can get into that. It's a long story, so I'll try to share it. What would be the best way to do that? Rachel, I think what I got to do, what I've got to do is, you know what I'm going to do for you, Rachel? I'm going to, I need some audio examples to best show what it's all about. So I'm going to get some audio examples, and then if I can find what I need, I will give the full explanation on the show tomorrow or on Wednesday, because I think audio would be best. It's a radio show, and sound is what makes everything work. So I will get the audio pieces necessary to be able to explain it properly. And then you'll be able to be like,
okay.
I get it now. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so you're on
good.
board. So, Rachel, you're on board with the lottery then?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you think about the Eagles concert?
Oh, loved it.
That was good.
Only they didn't play the long run, because I had asked someone what was his favorite Eagles song, and he said the long run. So I was kind of waiting for it, because I was going to text him a clip of them singing it, and it never came.
Oh, that's a bummer. Of all the songs they played, and they never got around to long run. That's brutal.
Right.
Well,
so
Rachel,
I loved it.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Okay.
I had a great time. It was a blast. But I appreciate you calling, and I'll give the full explanation on Show Me Your Blazer. I'll get it out there. Let's go out to, is this Victor? Victor in Turkey. Victor, what's going on, my friend?
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, I make it a couple of things. About the tanking, stuff like that.
Yes.
It's a hard choice because, if they have a deal with Chicago or something, I don't know about, what's going on, if they can a high pick. But, excuse me, I majored in mathematics. I graduated from mathematics, Portland State University, and the area of statistics. Now, my instructor, my professor in the PSU, he said anytime you have chance less than 40%, don't get in there. Of course, you are not a mathematician, I'm just graduate. I'm not a mathematician. But what I'm saying is, and he flipped, they flipped the coin, and he showed some of the exercises. He said, I'm going to flip the coin 50-50. And 3 times, you tell me it's going to be head or the other side. And I said head. And he threw the coin 3 times, and he didn't come the head. He said, you see 50-50 chance. The 4th time came the tail. So what I'm saying is, getting a 7% chance, that's reality. Probably you know better than me. It's not very high chance, but I don't approve either way. For me, the only advantage of keeping this playoff, contest is they give a chance to the other guys, like Shaden or the other guys, show up to what they got in the tank, what they got in their plane, and show them to the Blazers what they got. That's the only advantage. They're not going to make they're not going to even beat the first round. That's the only advantage. There's no other advantage to playing more games. But as I said, to get a 7-point chance, what I'm saying is, that's my feeling. I don't think mathematically it's not possible, but it still is possible. So I want to get your opinion on that. It's not an easy kind of a toss-up on that one. Scientifically, what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I've been over this time and time again in my mind. I'm just going to try and keep it simple. I'm simple-minded, so here's my simple math. If the Blazers were to lose enough games to move down in the draft order, and let's say they get to 7 or potentially 6, they could have a 7.5 or a 9% chance at the number 1 overall pick, and that would jump up their shot at a top 4 pick. It's somewhere near 32%. So, again, a 9% chance is not great. It's only 5% less than the teams at the bottom of the draft order who have a 14% chance. But I look at the odds. What are the percent chances the Blazers could go out and pull off a trade this summer with the assets they have to dramatically change the franchise? I mean, I would put that at less than 7.5% or 9%, right? So the way I look at it is, why not put yourself in a position to get Wembanyama, who would transform the franchise, or at least get into the top 4 to where you have another valuable piece that could be used in a trade to go out and bring in some legitimate veteran star power to help Dame. That's kind of the way I look at it. And there are people that disagree, but again, it's all about getting your hands on the best possible assets. That's the way I look at it. Telephone number 503-248-0620. We'll come back on fifth quarter, continue to take your calls and your reaction. Where do you want this season to end, lottery or play-in? Blazers going to be in Boston for a game Wednesday against the Celtics, tip-off at 4:30. Appreciate your calls and your interaction. You can jump on YouTube right now. Go to our homepage, Rip City Radio. Click the live links, and you can also click to subscribe. And you can join the live chat there and check things out behind the scenes here in studio. Chris Burkhardt, Chad doing with you. It's the fifth quarter. Blazers over the Pistons, 110-104.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
Blazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Here's Little on the wing. Ball fake and a drive straight to the rack and hammers it in.
All right, fifth quarter, Chad Dewing, Chris Burkhart with you. Portland gets the win tonight over Detroit, 110-104. At Little Caesars Arena. My man Burkhart says he's got a stat for me. What you got, brother?
All right, this is my stat, just my quick research here that I do in these breaks, and this is why I disagree fundamentally with Victor's take on, 7% chance doesn't do you much. Well, maybe if that 7% chance, hold on here. There you go. YouTube gets to see me pull a beard hair out of my mouth. If that 7% chance is because you're running this simulation, if you will, right? 1,000 times, because if you run it 1,000 times, there's your probability and your statistics, right? The law of averages. The more you do, the closer you get to that average. But that 7% has a chance to strike when you run it once.
Yes.
Right? And if you look at the history of the draft lottery, you have to go back to 2016 to find the last time that the teams that entered the draft 1, 2, 3 in the percent chance of getting those draft picks actually finished 1, 2, 3. And every single year in between, so 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and last year, someone ranked in the 6, 7, 8 range got in. For instance, obviously last year, looking at last year, Sacramento. They were 7th, but they ended up getting the 4th pick, right? So I'm not talking just first pick, just getting into that top spot that you've been talking about so much, because there is a gap there talent-wise. And it's been like that every single year. Cleveland was 5th. Toronto was 7th in 2021. They both got into the top 4. Interestingly, Charlotte landed the 3rd overall pick when they were in 8th place in 2020. And as you continue to go down here, the big one that I think you look at is 2019, Chad, when the New Orleans Pelicans, who were 7th, the Grizzlies, who were 8th, ended up getting the 1st and 2nd overall picks, right? New York, who had the best chance, finished 3rd, and the Lakers, who were 11th at the time and had a 2% chance, got the 4th overall pick. So, yes, in theory, you have a 7% chance. Again, but the more often you run that simulation, the closer that average gets to a true 7%. When you're just throwing in ping balls and you're pulling them out once, that 7% can strike, and history shows that it does.
I'm with you 100%. That's where I'm at on that. I just want what's best for the franchise, to put them in a position to do something special this summer. Let's go out to Eastside Mark. Eastside Mark, what's up, brother?
Gang, 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 gang.
That's right.
I want to tank, Chad. The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to spend. When is draft day? June?
Yes.
Coming up. I don't want to spend from now until June, until draft day, drooling over the chances, 7% chance of getting Wembanyama. You know what I mean? I don't want that heartache. I can't take it. Not after this last season. I can't take it, my man. Oh, by the way, I just found out what $36 can get you at Taco Bell.
What is that? What can it get you?
Dude, it looks like we went to Winco and did some grocery shopping. Yeah.
Dude, that's the best part about Taco Bell. You go there with a few bucks, and you can eat like a king. I remember, Mark, when I was in high school, we used to always hit the Taco Bell in Hazeldale. They had the $59, $79, $99 value menu, and, $5, and you're eating like a king. Those were the days. Didn't have to worry about calories. Just had a few bucks, go get some grub at Taco Bell, and then go do whatever, right? That was the thing. We used to cruise back in, 93. We'd cruise up and down Highway 99 in Hazeldale, too. Actually, I don't even think kids cruise anymore, do they? That's what we did. But, yeah, $5 at Taco Bell was genius.
That's what I'm pointing out, too. My draft analysis here, how I said 2016 was the last time 1, 2, 3 actually finished 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
That was also prior to changing the format where 1, 2, 3 now have a flat 14% chance. That was back when 1 had a 25% chance.
So it was massive.
It was massive. And then if you go back to 2014, when it was still number 1 had a 25% chance, the team that was in 9th that year was the Cleveland Cavaliers with a 1.7% chance. And that's the team that ended with the first overall pick.
I think what it is, the word lottery throws people off.
Yes.
When you hear the word lottery, you think Mega Millions or Powerball, and you realize the odds of striking it rich are slim to none. It's a little bit different. Like if you knew that you had a 7 or a 9.5% chance to win the Powerball, you go out and buy yourself
a
ticket.
ticket instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
I'm in. Give me that ticket. I'd go buy one right now. And I always remind people, too, when they got Greg Oden, 5.3% chance. Shouldn't happen that night either, but it did. Lightning struck.
Yes, it did.
All right, we'll come back on fifth quarter. We're going to hear from Chauncey, maybe. I guess I can stomach that potentially. 503-248-0620. Blazers get the win over the Pistons. Dame hit third triple-double of his career. They make it back-to-back wins, and now on to Boston. Celtics Wednesday. Tip-off at 4:30 here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab always sounds good for dinner.
7 to shoot. Dame wants help. Gives it to Reddish into the corner. Grant 3 on the way. Buries it. Jeremy Grant with a huge three-pointer. And the Blazers lead it by 9. His first points of the fourth quarter.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, let's check in with Coach Billups following the Blazers' 110-104 victory in Detroit tonight.
Tighter at the end, but how key was Lillard's first quarter? 16 points, 5 rebounds, a couple assists, to set the tone.
Yeah, he did. He came out and set the tone for us. He usually does. We just kind of exploited the coverage that they were in, and then they did a good job actually of changing the coverage and putting a lot more pressure on him. And, we had to find other guys. I thought Jeremy came out and was very aggressive as well. And then it was just kind of, we had to they was trapping, and we just had to kind of make the right play, when we got to the paint after Dame got off the ball. And I thought we did a pretty good job of it.
You've talked a lot, Chauncey, about just the lack of size on the team right now, especially with Nurk out. And you have Dame go out and get 13 rebounds tonight. It kind of speaks to kind of his effort all across the board, it seems like to me a little bit. It's not just about scoring, not just about creating.
Yeah, I think we all know that, Dame understands the moment, and with Nurk out, it's been tough going, especially on the glass, and then we, no longer have Josh Hart, who was our second best rebounder. So we know that we have to kind of do it by committee, and sometimes our big guys get the rebounds, and sometimes they just have to kind of keep their guy off the glass, and our small guys got to get in there and clean up the glass. So tonight was one of those nights.
Triple-double for him. Doesn't have a lot of those. Would you like to see more of those and maybe fewer, 50-point games? Is that more of a winning formula? Or?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that he should be getting long outlets and us running, but because we are kind of small, we do need him in there right now. He's going in there fighting with the big guys, but he's just the type of player that's going to do whatever it takes, on any given night. It could be 50 one night, it could be these crazy numbers that he's putting up, and then some nights it could be 12 assists, 13 rebounds. So he's prepared to do whatever it takes.
I imagine you probably weren't super satisfied with the execution at the end of the game there.
Yeah. Of course, you know me. I wasn't excited about the fourth quarter at all. I thought they just junked it up, and we had our second group out there. Their pressure really hurt us, and they kind of got themselves back in the game. And that that's kind of been an issue for us, all season. It's something that we just have to be better at.
All right, there's Coach Billups following the Blazers' victory tonight in Detroit. The more I watch coaches and hear them speak day by day, that is a job I would not want. The constant pressure and grind, and the losing just take its toll on them. Brutal.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And if I'm going to side with Chauncey for just a moment, you roll out there and you look at the roster, you're like, great.
Yeah. I don't know, but hey, dude, they did the worst thing possible. They won these last 2 games, and now people are texting me and messaging me, sipping the Trailblazers. It has to be red because that's the color, but it's the Trailblazers Kool-Aid out of their Clifford Robinson Dairy Queen cups that they haven't got rid of in 3 decades. Because my buddy Keith, you know him well.
I've got the whole set.
Yeah, my Trailcaster co-host. I had him. My mom had him somewhere. He already texted me or messaged me like, "Hey, you think they're going to climb up to 7 and 8, or are they just going to stay in the bottom half of the play-in?" Hey, what do you mean stay in the bottom half of the play-in? They aren't even in the play-in right now. They're like, what about this team over the last, even though they won these last 2 games, makes you go, yeah, play-in. Like, nothing.
No, nothing at all. Yeah, in fact, it was Eastside Mark who hooked me up with the rest of the glasses to complete the set. See, that's my whole problem with the playoff talk, man. I'm like you. It's like, I understand the math and where they sit in the standings, but I also watch the way they play. Nothing about their play suggests they're a playoff team, that they deserve to be in the playoffs, that they would have any remote chance of taking out Denver or any of the top teams in the Western Conference. Like, I know that people say, dude, just get in the postseason. Anything's possible. No, it's not.
Not if they're not healthy. They have to at least be healthy. But that's the
and
thing.
They're the 27th rated defense in the NBA. They're terrible defensively.
That's not going to get you through the playoffs.
And here's the other problem, too, with postseason basketball for this team. Let's say that they slide in.
Okay.
You know, and I know, playoff basketball is not regular season basketball, not even close to the same universe. Because in a postseason series of 7 games, you have extra time. The coaching staffs for both teams get together and prepare, and they dig over everything. Whatever weaknesses you have, they will find it, and they will exploit it. And trust me, it would not take long for Mike Malone and his staff to take a look at the film and be like, and come up with 5 or 6 different ways to annihilate them because of their deficiencies. And that's not hate. That's just truth.
No, all you got to do is go watch the Orlando game. I thought defensively, Orlando had a pretty dang good game plan on Jeremy Grant and Damian Lillard. And then you get a team like Phoenix, a team like Denver, has just a little more a little more know-how to execute that plan. It's going to be tough. At this point, like I said, health matters. So if the team's healthy, then maybe things are different. But hello, that is the same coat hook that they've been hanging the Trailblazers coat on now for how many years? Oh, but if they were healthy. But say this team limps into the playoffs. You get Nikola Jokic for 7 games, possibly, air quotes, and you're throwing Drew Eubanks on him for 7 games? Or you get Phoenix. Oh, DeAndre Ayton on Drew Eubanks. So what are you gonna do? Jeremy Grant's gonna guard Kevin Durant? Like what? Like, no, you're in a very, very tough spot. Very, very tough spot.
Phoenix might be a worse matchup than Denver, and that's saying something. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't need that.
Memphis, even without Ja.
That's a problem.
Steven Adams on Drew Eubanks for 7 games. It's just the again, the health sucks. You don't have your guy who should be your second best player in Anthony Simons. You don't have your true center in Yusuf Nurkic. And I said this before, and you hate it, and I justifiably so, but he means way more than anyone wants to actually allude to the importance of this team's success. You don't have him. If you had both those guys, I think you definitely have more of a shot, but you still don't have a great one because, like you just said, even when you have been healthy, Chad, your defense has been poor.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Blazers get the win tonight. We're going to be back at it on Wednesday. Game day will start at 2, and tip-off will be at 4:30 against the Celtics. Big thanks to all of you for joining us via YouTube and here on 620 Rip City Radio. Final score from Little Caesars Arena tonight in Detroit, Michigan. Your Portland Trailblazers behind a triple-double from Dame, 3rd of his career, get the victory 110-104 over the Pistons. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends.